Can I get every single achievement in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? In this video, I'll be attempting to get every single achievement in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which came out in 2022. This is the 6th installment of the LEGO Star Wars video game franchise that adapts all 9 movies. Alongside this, it adds characters from the other movies and television series. The Skywalker Saga is unlike most LEGO video games in which players have to advance through the story in a linear option. In this game, you can pick to start from any of the 3 trilogies. Each of the movies are broken into 5 chapters, which consist of key moments from each of the movies. Outside of this, you then have the open world that adds to the story and has many collectibles to make sure you collect throughout the game. Also, unlike the classic hubs of the old days, such as Mos Eisley's Cantina, you now have a wide range of planets to be able to explore that are full of collectibles and characters and side missions to complete. This therefore means that compared to other previous LEGO games, this is a hell of a grind. So please sit back and enjoy watching me try and get every single achievement and 100%ing this game. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe and any recommendations on how to improve these videos. So let's get into it. I started the game by picking The Phantom Menace as I felt it only made sense to start with the first movie. This is where you spawn in your first open area, which this time is a Separatist ship. After exploring around here and going from waypoint to waypoint and completing some little puzzles and tasks, I got myself the first achievement of the game. You guys got yourself a ship, which is for getting 17,000 studs. This is a very minimal amount, as the amount of studs that you have to collect to be able to buy and unlock everything is mental, as well as get an achievement at the end too. It was now time to finish each of the chapters and get the achievements that are related to this. This meant that I had to complete 5 levels on each of these chapters and do all of the story-tied challenges and puzzles that are related to the movies too. The levels themselves are not actually that time consuming, and a lot of them can be beaten under 10 minutes. The time comes from running around and doing all of the puzzles and open world stuff you have to do to be able to unlock these levels within the chapters. As then expected, doing this 9 times over can be quite repetitive and can get a bit tedious. I found the levels themselves very fun and had that LEGO Star Wars charm that you come to expect having played all of the games throughout the series, but the open world bits can become quite tedious as they're very repetitive. Eventually, I was able to complete each of these chapters and get the achievements related to them. After completing 45 missions in all 9 of the chapters, you'll then get the achievement, It's True All of It, for completing the Skywalker Saga. It's now time to go through and get all of the collectibles, all of the characters, and all of the miscellaneous achievements scattered throughout this game. This is where the real grind begins. When playing through each of the chapters, there are 3 main components to get 100% in each of the levels. These are True Jedi, 5 mini-kits out of 5, and all 3 level challenges completed. Obviously, therefore, there are 3 achievements linked to the first time you get each of these. The first of these was getting all 3 of the level challenges completed, which got me the achievement Impressive, Most Impressive. The next was a fine addition to my collection. As with every single LEGO game up to this point, there are mini-kits in every single one of the levels. These can be scattered across the map in hidden locations or be tied to sort of challenges that you have to complete. The first time you collect all 5, you'll get the achievement, A Fine Addition to My Collection. The final of these 3 achievements is You Think You're Some Kind of Jedi. This is to get True Jedi in a single level. True Jedi is another one of those things that is linked to every single LEGO game, which consists of you getting a certain amount of studs in a single level. Once you do this, you'll achieve True Jedi and get the achievement, You Think You're Some Kind of Jedi. In this edition of LEGO Star Wars, they have massively overhauled the game style and gameplay of this. This changes from like the sort of overhead gameplay that we come to expect to a third person over the shoulder gameplay. This means you've got to go for different combos and attack styles against enemies, and the boss fights are very, very different. In this, it means that you can get combos, and if you get a 30 combo against any enemy, which in this opportunity I got one against a boss, you'll get the achievement, I don't like you either. Another achievement I was able to get playing through the main story of the Skywalker Saga was Aggressive Negotiations. To get this achievement, I had to defeat 3 enemies at the same time with the same explosion. There are many opportunities to get this achievement throughout the story, and I managed to get it on Kashyyyk whilst playing through episode 3. Due to the new game mechanics in Skywalker Saga, there's the opportunity to shoot the helmets off of stormtroopers. This is down to the fact that it's now like a third-person shooter instead of the OG LEGO style. Therefore, there is an achievement linked to this. Once you're able to shoot 50 helmets off of enemies, you'll get the achievement and who gave you permission. Obviously, this becomes a lot easier in the original trilogy because you'll come across a lot more stormtroopers who have helmets to shoot off. In my opinion, one of the best ways they've adapted the gameplay to the new style is space battles. Whereas in the original LEGO Star Wars games you had the top-down vehicle missions, which were an absolute pain in the ass to play, you now have the third-person missions. These are a lot more enjoyable, but they do become very tedious because I feel like the game relies on them very often. Because they happen so often during the main story and then the challenges and side missions, you'll soon get the achievement, Get the Crews to Their Fighters, which is for destroying 100 TIE fighters. The main collectible in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga are Kyber bricks. You can get these from collecting 5 mini-kits to all the true Jedis, as well as just scattered around each of the planets. You can then use these to upgrade each of the character classes within the game. The character classes in Skywalker Saga distinguish between bounty hunters, heroes and droids, and give them different abilities. You can upgrade these and become better and more effective at doing their tasks. After getting enough Kyber bricks to fully upgrade a character class, you'll get the achievement Raw Untamed Power. On top of this achievement, you'll then get another achievement called Power Unlimited Power for fully upgrading all of the character classes. This requires quite a lot of Kyber bricks and requires you to play through the game and do as many of the collectibles as possible. The biggest grind on top of getting all the Kyber bricks in this game is completing 100% on each of the planets. You can visit every single planet that exists in each of the Star Wars movies, and there'll be challenges, puzzles, side missions that are scattered across these that all give you Kyber bricks. There are also achievements linked to complete each of these planets. I identified the fact that Kamino was one of the smaller ones and went after that and got the achievement very quickly for Rishi Maze, which is for completing all events on Kamino. Next up were the planets Kashyyyk and Kijimi. After getting all the Kyber bricks on each of these, I then got the achievement The Slice. Progressing through the galaxies, I made it to Cantonica, Yavin 4 and Agen Kloss. After making sure that I unlocked all the new characters, completed all the Kyber bricks and completed all the side missions in this area, I got the achievement New Territories. Next up was the Arcanese sector. This sector consists of Geonosis and Tatooine. Tatooine in this game is massive as it includes a couple of different areas within it. On Tatooine, you'll come across the Jawa's faulty droid missions too. For getting all of these and completing all the Kyber bricks on Tatooine and Geonosis, you'll get the achievements Hey, what are you trying to push on us? And Arcanese sector. Dakar, Naboo and Pasaana were the next 3 planets that I identified. Naboo is the tricky one out of 3 because once again it has multiple different areas and a lot of challenges and side missions to complete. Once you're able to get all of the Kyber bricks on these places, you'll then get the achievement Trailing Sectors.
Here's something for your hard work.
Episode 3 and Episode 5 was my next target. This was for Dagobah, Mustafar and Utapu. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing any of these correctly as I just don't know. Once you get all of the Kyber crystals in each of these areas, you'll then get the achievement Western Reaches. Progressing through these achievements, it becomes very repetitive of completing very similar side missions, challenges and puzzles. Fortunately, I'm getting towards the end and the next achievement that I got was Greater Javin. This was for completing all events on Bespin, Crate and Hoth. The penultimate of these achievements was Unknown Regions. I would say this is the least enjoyable out of all of the planet-based achievements I had to get. This was due to the game not performing great on Endor and just the places looking very boring and the challenges and side missions being also very boring. Once you complete all of the events on these, you'll get the achievement Unknown Regions. The final of all the event-based planet achievements I went for was the interior. This was because it consisted of completing all the events in Coruscant, Jakku and Takodana. Added up, these have some of the most events, so I just left this to last as I thought that was a good idea. Once I completed all the events on these planets, I got the achievement the interior. On top of this, I also got the achievement See You Around Kid for completing all of the events in the entire galaxy. As mentioned before, this was the biggest grind of the game, as you just have to do the same sort of puzzles and stuff over and over again. To begin with, it's fun, but it does get very repetitive and boring. But finally, I'm done, and it's time to move on to the final achievements of this game. You have to complete a wide range of side missions throughout all of the planets. One of these sets of missions are Gonk missions, where you have to transport a Gonk droid from one point to another. Once you've done all of these, you then transport Gonk from one of the planets over to his own little planet, which then gets you the achievement Gonk. Another thing to look at whilst exploring all of the planets and the areas within it are data cards. If you would have played any of the previous LEGO Star Wars games in the past, you would have come across red bricks. These act as randomizers to your game, which can multiply the amount of studs you get, to making weird noises when you fire your gun, to making weird noises when people talk. This is an aspect of getting 100% in the game, so once you collect all of the data cards that are scattered across the planets, you'll get the achievement, What have you done with those plans? Added to the Skywalker Saga are races. These are very different as you go from planet to planet and use the vehicles that are based on each of these planets. I can't exactly how many of these there are, but I think there's around 15, and once you complete all of the races in the galaxy, you'll get the achievement, the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. You have to do these as they reward you with the Kyber brick that you have to get to 100%. Another achievement that I got playing through the game was I Can Fly Anything. This is for completing one of the many flying missions without dying once. This isn't massively difficult and you should pick it up on your first playthrough, but if not, just fly through one of the slightly easier ones, avoiding missiles, and just complete it. Collecting studs is a major part of any LEGO Star Wars games, as you need them to buy any collectibles, characters, or ships to be able to reach that 100% mark. On top of this, there is also an achievement linked to this. Once you collect 10 billion studs, you'll then get the achievement, Only One Business in the Galaxy. If you've ever played a LEGO game before, you will understand there's a data card / red brick that gives you the multipliers of the 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 times stud counter that you really need to be able to get this achievement. Once you reach that 10 billion counter, the achievement will finally unlock. Eventually, out of the 1,200 Kyber bricks, you'll reach the point of 1,000 Kyber bricks. When you get to this point, you'll get the achievement, You May Fire When Ready. This is the final achievement that you'll get for getting Kyber bricks, but you still have to get to the 1,200 points to be able to get 100% in the game and get the final few achievements.
Does this belong to the Jedi? No.
Although you've completed all of the challenges and side missions, there are still challenges that you have to complete to be able to get every single character in the galaxy. These challenges consist of finding Porgs to Wookiees scattered across the galaxy. The last challenge that I had was finding the Wandering Wookiee who was in various hidden locations across the galaxy. Once I found all of the Wandering Wookiees across the entire galaxy on each of the planets, I got the achievement Hello There, which was for collecting all the characters, and then the achievement Do or Not Do, There Is No Try, which is for completing all of the galaxy's challenges. It was now time to go through and get the final achievements linked to the missions within the chapters. The first off was to get Now I Am the Master, which is to get True Jedi in every single one of the levels. This becomes very easy once you've got the multipliers, as by the time you've spawned in on a lot of the levels, you'll have already got it.
Come with me to Exegol. We will destroy Palpatine.
Next up was to get every single mini-kit. The ability to see where mini-kits does make this a lot easier, which is one of the character class upgrades that you can get, but it still remains quite difficult because a few of them you can't actually see. Once you've played through all of the chapters and the levels and got every single one of the mini-kits, you'll then get the achievement, You Needn't Worry About Your Reward. The final of the 3 achievement is No More Training You Require. To get this achievement, you have to complete every single one of the level challenges. This is by far the hardest part of any of the levels because some of them require you to do weird things that you wouldn't otherwise go for, such as stealth or just approach a scenario differently. Once you do this and unlock the achievement, you then don't have to worry about any of the missions at all. Moving on to the final 3 achievements, these are not ones that you'd get through your main playthrough as they require you to play a little differently and do a little bit of an odd thing that you probably wouldn't do otherwise. The first of these is Jedi Business. To get this, you have to cause a full-on brawl in the Mos Eisley Cantina. To do this, you have to influence some of the NPCs scattered in the Mos Eisley Cantina, and they'll start scrapping. Once you've done this to enough of them, you'll then get the achievement, Jedi Business. One of the mechanics in the game is being able to disguise yourself as a stormtrooper. This can only be done by a hero class, and if you do this 25 times, you'll get the achievement A Little Short for a Stormtrooper. Fortunately, there's an area in Naboo where you can do this and repeat this over and over again and easily be able to get the achievement. Scattered across all of the planets are many different animals and creatures that you can ride. If you manage to ride all of these creatures, you'll unlock the achievement I've never seen a real one. Unfortunately, there's no real way of tracking it, so it requires you to go through and ride each of these until you get the achievement. After going around and riding on all the animals that I needed to, I got the final achievement of the game. I've never seen a real one. Therefore, completing this game and getting 100% and all achievements. I'm not really too sure what to say about this game, to be honest. I've loved pretty much every LEGO game that's ever come out and played a lot of them to 100%, but this just didn't quite scratch the bit in my brain that the others have. I'm pretty sure it's the open world aspect of the levels within the movies that doesn't quite reach the potential that the previous games have, because they're just not great, and the fact that a lot of them only take 5 minutes to complete really just isn't particularly good. I get the whole point of like being able to grind the game and get 1,200 Kyber bricks, but at some point they just become very repetitive and just it's more of a grind than enjoyable. It's still a LEGO game at the end of the day, and I still did enjoy myself, but it did get to the point where I was just sort of hoping for it to be done, which was a little bit unfortunate because it still has the charm of LEGO, and it's still good fun at the end of the day if you just take it for what it is. I'm not sure I'd necessarily recommend it to anybody just because of the grind, but if you enjoy LEGO games, I think you'll still have a good time, as I did, even though it was a bit tedious. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much, and any recommendations you have to improve these videos or any recommendations on games to play in the future, I also really appreciate. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.